Hi, everyone. It's Kim from Expressions of the Universe, here with your full moon in Capricorn stars and cards. I have a layout of tarot cards for the collective, and then I'll pull cards for each zodiac sign for this full moon and the upcoming energies that we have for the second half of the year. I know that it's been a while. Oh, let me back up. My disclaimer that this video is for fun and folly and that it's for entertainment purposes only. All right. So I know it's been a while. As it turns out, I'm in the fifth month of being a new grandmother, and I never realized just how much of all of my free time it takes, willingly, most of the time. It's been pretty wonderful, my first grandchild, but I'll tell you, life has been a whirlwind, and I just have so few free moments to come on here. I've been wanting to week after week, month after month, aspect after aspect. And at the prompting and begging of so many of you, here I am. I was able to carve out a little bit of time from my chores that I'm procrastinating from so that I could do this. I want to welcome all the new viewers and subscribers and followers that I've gotten over the last month. It's so overwhelming. Uh, Approximately close to 4,000 new viewers, and it's been a little hectic, but I love it. I love it. For those of you that don't know me, love my coffee, love my astrology and my tarot. I'm very sarcastic. I have, I think, a healthy sense of humor that leans towards the dark side. Um, Posts that I make that may come off as being bitter and angry, they're really just sarcastic. I find them hysterical because so often the sarcasm really rings true to life. But overall, I am grateful for everything that I complain about. It's true, as we all should. So let's dive into it. We have a lot coming up with this full moon. So it's a full moon in Capricorn. It's the second full moon in Capricorn this year, which is really rare that we would have two full moons or even two new moons in the same sign. Now, I've been seeing out on social media a lot of other astrologers or, people posting that it's a blue moon. Well, it's not. A blue moon is when we have two full moons in the same month, not two full moons in the same sign. Could it be considered blue, which is equal to rare? Yes, it is rare that this would happen. And how did this happen? Well, the full flower moon, the full strawberry moon in June was at the early degrees, at 0 or 1 degree of Capricorn. And so most moon cycles are about 28 days. So fast forward to July, which is the full buck moon, only one of it's only one of its names. Indigenous people call it the full raspberry moon or the full berry moon or the full salmon moon. That's at 29 degrees, the last degree of Capricorn. It is the anaretic degree. It is the most potent degree. And there is a lot of energy behind it. There's a lot of callbacks and clapbacks from the past year, from the past couple of years. And so we're wrapping a lot of energy, a lot of karma. We're closing out a chapter. And if you know anything about the Pluto transits, going back and forth, retrograding and direct at 29 Capricorn. This is why this degree is so important and so potent, because we're closing out that old energy, those old chapters. And this energy is going to carry us for a long time. Now, full moons are for releasing things that no longer serve us. They're not necessarily a time that you want to be manifesting because you're trying to clean out your closets, clean up the clutter, and make room for when we have the following new moon. And then these moon cycles, the new moon follows 2 weeks after a full moon. Now, we just had the new moon in Cancer. And then now it's almost 2 weeks later, and we're following up with that full moon in Capricorn, which is the opposite of Cancer. It's the home and the family. There's a lot of ancestral dynamics in this full moon. There is a lot of energy when it comes to old regimes, religion, governmental controls, banking, finance, old structures crumbling so that we can start brand new and rise up from that. So yeah. Now, the first thing I want to talk about, because we're in the thick of this energy now, it is the Mars, Uranus, and fixed star Algol, ALGOL, conjunction that is happening, building up to me recording this. And that comes in exact around July 15th or 16th, depending on where you live. I'm going to share my screen since I pulled the chart. And sit tight because I have your cards for you. But I want to explain this so that when I pull your cards, you know what I am incorporating the energy with and into. So Algol in Greek mythology was one of the Gorgons, also known as Medusa. It's a fixed star that sits in the constellation of Perseus, who wound up taking the head from Medusa. So when we see Algol, ancient astronomers, ancient astrologers, ancient, and think of, people in boats that are sailing, boat captains. I can't think of what it is now. They would always look and see, is Algol present in the skies, because they wouldn't want to sail on that day because they know that their crews might not come back. Astronomers also looking at that for volatile times. The last time that Uranus, the planet of chaos and adventure, conjuncted Algol was back in 1941. Make this a little bigger. So you'll see that Uranus and Mars are both at 26 degrees, 19 minutes. Algol is at 26:10. Fixed stars do not tend to move too quickly from the skies. It takes them about 72 years to even move 1 degree. So what do we have when we see this? So you have the planet Mars of war, aggression, new beginnings, action, with the planet of chaos and unexpected happenings. Algol, the fixed star of losing your head, that Medusa hovering over there. So it could be, like expect the unexpected, something through aggression, aggravation, someone losing their head. We have this conjunction. I mean, it's exact the 15th, 16th of July, but the energy really will carry through October with that Uranus conjuncting Algol. Mars will move on. And then with retrogrades, we'll have this energy back again in April or May of next year. Mars energizes and ignites this combination. Mars reactivates the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction that happened back around April 19th, April 20th at 21 degrees. Because Mars, it was coming in and starting to build on that. That was on around July 9th that point got activated again. We can be possibly looking at earthquakes, the ignition, the beginning of something, finance and economy happenings, because this is in the sign of Taurus, which is ruled by Venus, and that is about money and banking. Communications and aviation because of Uranus, electric or electromagnetic issues. I think sun flares, that's Uranus also. Rebelliousness. That's another theme around this. We could feel restless, agitated, an urgent need to do something, urgent energy, a need for freedom. There are a lot of changes happening at a deeper level. This is globally. People that are in power could lose that power, leaders can be losing their positions. What's interesting is that this configuration, looking at the United States, sits right on top of Joe Biden's sun sign, S-U-N, and it sits on top of Donald Trump's midheaven, where he aspires to be. So it looks volatile for both of those parties. This is also sitting on the Imium Celi, which is called the IC, typically down here around the fourth house of China. So with that being about land masses, there could be major earthquakes there. Let's see, what else? This is also sitting on in the chart of the EU, on the moon of the EU, indicating that there's going to be some crumbling or breaking down of the EU. And this also sits on France's MC. And if you watch the news or if you've heard anything, there have been major disruptions in France with the elections and Macron. If you have any fixed signs being Taurus, Scorpio, I can't think, Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, or Aquarius, between 24 and 28 degrees, you will feel this, especially the Taurus and the Scorpio mostly. So let me repeat that. If you have any fixed signs that are Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, or Aquarius between the degrees of 24 and 28 degrees, you will feel this. I have an Astro 101 video that you can look up. It'll show you how to pull your birth chart for free. So you can see if you do have any of those signs. Okay, now I wanted to move on to the full moon. This is coming in around July 21st, very early in the morning here on the East Coast. Adjust for your time frames. It'll be about 3 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast of the United States, 11 o'clock in the morning in the UK. For my Scottish and British friends. So you'll see here, the moon is at 29 degrees, 8 minutes of Capricorn. The sun is opposite of that. That's what creates the full moon at 29 Cancer. It's in the 6th house and the 12th house. Daily life, our routine, our body, mind, and spirit, and endings, karmic redemptions, institutions, also illness can fall in this area. So Shocks and surprises. Expect that. Definitely seismic activity. I don't want to go through all of my notes that I wrote, but I just want to really emphasize here that this 29th degree of Capricorn, we've seen it over and over and over again over the last few years. It's the wrapping up of that old regime, old religions, old beliefs. Um, we need new energy. Now, ironically, Pluto, who has been going back and forth over this degree, it's at 0 Aquarius, but it is retrograde. It will be coming back to the 29th degree. Actually, it will go as far back as 27. Then when that goes direct and moves forward back into Aquarius, it will never be in Capricorn again in our lifetimes. It will take 248 years to come back into that, and we will all be long gone. The last time that Pluto was in this position was back during the American and French revolutions. So think about that. New energy coming in, new beginnings coming in. This moon at 29 degrees is also making a sextile to Neptune at 29 degrees. Very important. Also, Mercury is at 26 Leo, and it is making a square to 26 Uranus. This is chaos energy. It's electric. It's expect the unexpected. We really can't see what is going to happen because if we try to predict that, probably the absolute opposite of what we are thinking will happen will happen. Now, this 29th degree of Capricorn is not only the power, it's like a power dynamic, an old regime. It is prone to sorrow. It is prone to sorrow with family issues. The sextile to Neptune, that's very psychic. It's about your dreams, it's spiritual awakening. So a lot of us could be having some very interesting experiences during this time. There's definitely a mental health alert with this. And with Pluto at 0 degrees of Aquarius, the moon will be moving into Aquarius like later this day, aspecting all of these planets in Leo. So I'd be on the lookout for some coronary issues, issues of the heart. I want to stop sharing just so I can read some of my notes about health aspects. And remember, this is just for information, for entertainment, for folly, for information purposes. So back with the Mars Uranus conjunction with Algol, we could be having some stomach issues. Women with breasts, menses, swelling, a lot of swelling, migraines, the knees, the skin, the coronary artery, the aorta. It's a very, very fertile time, very emotional, filled with feelings, flooding of emotions, flooding, maybe rains, mudslides, earthquakes. Definitely mental health alerts are on the lookout. That is with that full moon. Something else that I had written that I know was very important so with this full moon coming in around July 20th, the moon will move into Capricorn. Capricorn and Virgo moons are a really great time for fasting because our digestive system is extremely slow during that time. So it's important to eat extremely light or just do, fluids. If if you find that to be healthy for you. Stay super hydrated. It's also a time of, constipation. And as my teacher, Judith Hill, likes to say, if you're constipated, you need to stop eating. Because if nothing's coming out, you don't want to be, to continue putting food in if nothing's coming out. You need to wait until you have some of that movement, then you can resume eating. And that's another reason why hydration is so super important, because if you hydrate yourself well, then you'll keep your system running well. Capricorn moon, it's ruled by Saturn. Saturn is in Neptune, but it tends to be harsh and dry, especially with that Uranus and Mars conjunction in Taurus. It could be very drying. Also, there is a propensity for respiratory illness at this time, hot, dry, asthma-like symptoms, whether it be allergies or from the heat. You'll need cool, moist conditions. Cool, moist steam. Cucumber water is fantastic. Fill a pitcher up with purified water, slice a whole cucumber, put it right in, and the nutrients from the cucumber will leach into the water. You can keep filling that jug for about a week before you need to replace the cucumber. It's super hydrating for the body. Now, with these aspects and these conditions, possibly lavender could be really great for calming everybody down, because there's a lot of nervous tension, a lot of nervous energy, neurological components in our body are on hyper stimulus. So we need to calm down. You want to maybe cut back on the caffeine, incorporate some lavender, maybe in some diffusers or in your bath as a lotion, or some essential oils if that works for you. Mars will be moving into Gemini July 20th during the same time. That's why everything starts to get heightened. Mars in Gemini is interesting because Mars and Mercury, the ruler of Gemini, they are not friends. They are enemies. However, Mars will energize that Gemini energy. So you want to pay attention to this ingress. You may feel very energized. What house in your chart is ruled by Gemini? That's where you could possibly feel a surge of energy coming in for you. Pay attention to that. Mars in Gemini is great for doing handiwork, doing intricate work with the hands and the fingers. It's great placement for surgeons, people that are into knives and needles and, like very intricate things. Speaking of needles, Mars in Gemini is not a great time for acupuncture or for getting inoculations. I'm sorry if there are any of you out there that are medical doctors or acupuncturists, but you would really want to look at somebody's chart and see what is happening in it and go very gently on everybody. If you are regular of getting acupuncture, you may want to cut back during the time that Mars is in Gemini, but it really kind of depends on what's in your chart and how is it affecting. So that's why it's always great to maybe order a reading and find out from an astrologer what is going on. So, all right, let's move into the cards. I have the layout that I wanted to show all of you. I did this layout. I can make it a little bigger. I want to be able to keep all the cards. I did this layout for the collective for this full moon in Capricorn, but also really for like the second half of this year. I did it on I did it dark and I did it light. So if we look at this layout, This is the path that I follow, and then it goes around. So the first card of the layout, this will just show you. We have the Wheel, the Empress, the Hanged Man, Six of Pentacles, the Tower, Nine of Cups, Two of Swords, Ten of Swords, Two of Wands, and then the final card, the Four of Swords. Right. So when I look at what is the main energy, I'm looking at the Wheel, and that represents cycles and changes, letting go, and karmic lessons. I guess I'll just leave it there instead of just pulling these cards for you, and then I can show you. So that's the basis of what we're in now. We're in the middle of changing, cycles changing, having to let go of things, reaping karmic lessons, whether it be good or bad. It all depends on, how have you been living your life? How have you been contributing to society? Then the overlaying issue or situation, it's the Empress. And so I find this really interesting, especially with a lot of things that are going on in the United States and in the world. So the Empress always represents fertility, the woman, the mother. And here we have this woman, and she's birthing something new into the world. You can see this in her abdomen. It is the future. This also represents abundance, unconditional love, body, mind, and spirit, spiritual alignment. I just find that it's interesting that, these cycles represented by the wheel and something, spinning around, coming to its end, or what goes up must come down, and what is up must come, what is down must come up. A lot of the issues in the world today are directly related to women and women's issues, women's fertility, and the like. This is not a political statement, but I feel that if you are a woman, if you love a woman, if you love your mother, your sister, your wife, your daughters, your nieces, you have to fight for the rights of women at this time and to their bodily autonomy. Nobody should be telling a woman what they can and can't do with their body. And those rights are on the line and are at stake in not just the United States, but all around the world, um, as a means of control and power. And that's what that 29-degree Capricorn full moon is all about. And that's really what this wheel is saying as well. It's like women need to stand up and bring this power dynamic back into balance. So the underlying issue, here we have the Hanged Man, and this is about surrendering, letting go, and just knowing that there maybe isn't a whole lot that you can do in the situation. Maybe setting your intentions and trusting that everything will work out exactly the way it is supposed to. This is also about enlightenment. So when I spoke about the Capricorn moon, full moon at 29 degrees, sextiling Neptune at 29 degrees in Pisces, that's one of the highest, most spiritual, psychic, intuitive signs, 29 degrees Neptune in Pisces. This is like an aha moment, an awakening, something fantastic happening. And if you're really in tune with yourself, body, mind, and spirit, you too could be opening up some really fascinating and dynamic gifts. I'd be very cautious about overindulgence at this time, and watching, drinking and what you're taking, especially around water, because that could be very dangerous with all of these aspects that I spoke about. So here we have in the position of what is passing, what is in the past. So it's the Six of Pentacles, which typically represents reciprocity, generosity, the giving and taking between two parties, like mutual respect and mutual exchange. And thought about this and the position, I immediately thought, wow, so this is ending. That reciprocity, that two-way street is ending, and it's becoming very one-sided, a one-way flow, a selfishness, a self-indulgence, people with ulterior motives, people that are vindictive. And that really bothered me. But also too, let me zoom out a little bit. When you're looking at these issues between women and the world and society, which doesn't surprise me, somebody is being paid off to run this narrative, to run this agenda. There's a lot of money being exchanged to trap and repress women at this time. And that's part of the 29 Capricorn degree. You follow me? I hope so. Now, if we do nothing, this is what's represented by this card. This is in the position. If we do nothing, what will happen? So let me zoom in on that and show you. It's the Tower. And if any of you follow the Tower, you know the Tower means destruction. It's chaos energy. It is the lightning strike of shock that just brings everything down. So if we as a society, as a world, do nothing, this is what's coming. We could also look at this reading in our personal lives, because this reading is for the collective. So the Tower, of course, it represents chaos, crumbling. It's also about denial. People are saying, oh, this will never happen. This can never happen. Trust me, it can happen. It's also fear itself, but that fear also brings about and manifests things to be fearful of. It's fear of change. So if you know the Tower, you know the Tower. The wonderful thing is that it's, if we do nothing, this is what's coming for us. So to me, that says we still have a chance to restore balance in the world. Now, the card that is guaranteed that is coming towards us is the Nine of Cups. It's the wish card. It's one of the best cards in the deck. It's the wish of gifts and desires, joy, our dreams coming true. It's about abundance, but there's also a lot of gratitude within that. So if you are an ungrateful, miserable being, none of this comes to you. You'll get the Tower, okay? So what side of that coin would you like to be on? This is saying that we can have everything that we want. We can't let fear hold us back and say, oh, it's just coming for us. No, because then it will. The next card, which does show up in the sector of what are our biggest fears. Our biggest fears have to do with two parties, two sides that are putting us between a rock and a hard place. We are blindfolded and blind. We cannot see what the future is. Our biggest fear is we have no idea what's coming. But a choice has to be made. We do have to make a choice. And it's between choosing between two evils. Um, but which one will lead us to women's rights and more balance in the world? Um, this is a difficult choice. There's a lot of angst because of the unknown in that situation. However, it is in the position of what our fears are. So it's not a reality. It's just what our thoughts are overthinking, I should say, at the moment. Uh, what those around us are picking up and feeling, it's the Ten of Swords. Um, this is painful endings. This is enemies, denial, hitting rock bottom, but those are all opportunities to find hope. So a lot of times we do have to hit rock bottom. We have to hit that that worst place in our lives in order for us to turn around and find the hope that we so desperately are looking for. Those little seeds that inspire us, which leads us to the Two of Wands. It's kind of like new beginnings, but we feel like we have a choice now. We have a choice between, two different options. Do we want to go and take that adventure, or do we want to stay where we are, status quo, hold the fort down, or do we want to just say F it all and start all over anew? A choice of whether you do it or you don't has to be made, and you can't hem and haw over it. It's kind of like rip the band-aid off and make the decision. So here's a good analogy. When you it's like a coin toss. Take a coin, and if you have a choice to make, choose what heads is going to be, what tails is going to be. When you throw that coin up into the air to flip it, you know what your heart will know immediately what it is that you are hoping for. So even if it doesn't land on what you were hoping for, your heart knows. So it's like, should I stay? Should I go? So staying is heads, going is tails. When you flip the coin, you're in your mind says, oh, I want to go. And it comes up as heads and it says, I should stay. You got to go with what your heart picked. Um, this is about planning for the future because now we have a little bit of hope. We can plan for the future. We don't have to make the choice right now, but just that feeling of having a choice makes things so much better. The final outcome for now in the next 6 months, it's the Four of Swords. And I love that this card came up as the final card in my layout today, because this is a time for deep rest, healing from burnout. We're putting our heart aside into the little nest and we are resting. This is a respite period. And I think that we need to really take off the rest of the year and just kind of settle back into that place of allowing our body, mind, and spirit to heal and, you know, restitute itself from burnout, because I think we're all there. I'll stop sharing on that. Um, so yeah, that's what I'm getting for the collective for the next half of the year. And I did have all of the cards here, but I'm going to shift them. I'm going to pull one of these tarot cards from the Light Seers Tarot by Chris Ann. And then I'm going to pull an animal totem from Colette Baron Reed, Animal Totem Spirits. I did pull a card from this healing shamanic deck before I started the reading. And it is about retreat and healing, green calcite. is the card. Number 24, for those of you that are into numbers, the mountain talks about possible current obstacles that are in our way and that maybe we just need to back off instead of trying to, run our head into a brick wall over and over and over again. So that was just another affirmation about or confirmation about retreating and taking a rest, taking a break. I'm going to shuffle these so that they are a little mixed up. And then I'll pull cards for all zodiac signs. I'll start with Aries. You want to look for your sun, rising, ascendant, and your moon sign. So you potentially can get 3 cards from this reading for yourselves, in addition to 3 more for the animal totems. And if you do not know what your sun, rising, and your moon sign is, you can either order a chart from me at expressionsoftheuniverse.com, get a reading from me, or you can go to my Astro 101 video and it will show you how to pull your own free chart. Won't tell you how to read it, but at least you'll know where things are in your chart. Alrighty. All right, I'm ready to begin pulling the cards. All right, so for Aries, where is this full moon showing up for you? So I know where to begin. This is the 9th house of beliefs, justice, religion, spirituality, overseas travel. You're getting the 8 of Cups. There's a possibility, Aries, that you will be walking away from many opportunities and situations in order to go find yourself. That's what I feel like in this card. It's like you're leaving everything behind to just find yourself, go and start a new adventure. A lot of things fall to the wayside. You look and see what has been presented to you prior to this, what is currently in your life, and you've just kind of had enough. That's pretty much what I'm pulling from energetically wise. Interesting that wolf spirit shows up for you, Aries, suns, risings, and moons. And, most people always talk about the lone wolf, but actually, wolves are part of a pack. And so even if they venture out on their own, they still need to be close enough to their pack to feel safe and protected and taken care of. This says turn knowledge into wisdom. So maybe it is time for Aries to be walking away from something that is no longer serving them and to start to find your own new true pack. All right, Taurus, suns, risings, and moons. You have the Knight of Pentacles. This is the beginnings or, a business venture, money, abundance coming in for you unexpectedly, or maybe something that you've been working towards. Those of you who are single, you could be meeting somebody that fits that bill. Kind of like not the knight in shining armor, but maybe business partnerships, something new, new opportunities coming your way. And your animal totem is elephant. And I always think of how elephants have a photographic memory. They never forget a face. They never forget how they've been treated by someone, right? This says learn from the past. So if you know that there's somebody that treats you terribly, then you're not going to want to go in that direction. So what if this person is somebody that you already know and they have a get rich quick scheme, or They're presenting you with gifts and luxuries. Remember who they were from the past and don't fall victim to that. So there's a lot, both cards talk about wisdom and taking the wisdom that you already have and applying it to what's going on. Don't be fooled. You know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Gemini, we have the Ace of Cups, the beginning of love, the beginning of something new that fills our hearts. Um, with that butterfly feeling. It could be a creative project, it could be a person, it could be a new way of thinking, but something new is coming in that will definitely fill our hearts to the brim. And the animal totem is the ant spirit. Teamwork makes the dream work. This is saying you need to collaborate with other people, Gemini, in order to fulfill that cup, that is which is your heart. Wait, I can't even speak. I think you know what I'm trying to say. Um, Geminis tend to become so overwhelmed with information and people that they tend to be a little introverted. But now I'm saying now's the time to collaborate and find a match, find a partner, find somebody that you can work with, somebody that you could share the load with. Cancers, you have the death and rebirth card, and that's perfect because this full moon is opposite the 29th degree of Cancer, and it's talking about letting go of things that no longer serve. This is extremely potent for the Cancer sun signs, but this is about home and family and ancestors and like what can you let go of that foundation that's no longer serving you so that you can incorporate some new healthier energies into your family and home life. Your animal totem is snake spirit, and it says it's time to heal. This is about peeling away the old skin that's worn out. This is about big changes. Card 55, huge changes, taking off that cloak, that mask that you've been hiding behind and reemerging as brand new. So this is extremely transformative for the Cancer suns, risings, and moons. All right, so Leo, you have Page of Wands. Page of Wands is about the beginning of a new growth, new growth. Let me back up. My mind is moving faster than my mouth. Page of Wands is about the beginning and new growth of business ventures, creative adventures, creative ventures, something new that sparks you and takes you off into this, essence of joy, something that is invigorating you all over again, brand new. And, on July 22nd, the sun will move into Leo and we will be having Leo season. So this is a fantastic card for that. It's time to get out of your rut and get creative and start moving in a better direction, Leos. Your animal totem card is Vulture Spirit, and it says nothing is wasted. And I had written an article about Vulture Animal Totem Spirit, and I always call the vultures the cleanup crew. But when it says nothing is wasted, so don't beat yourself up, Leo, if you have to walk away from a project, because you must have learned and gained some wisdom from whatever it is that you have done in the past. Build on that, but know that you didn't waste time, even though you may be hemming and hawing about time that was wasted and you could have been doing this, you could have been doing that. You did gain something from it. So just know that nothing is wasted from that moment. Take some of that and move that in along with your new venture. Virgos, little virgins. You have the King of Wands. So, and look, I love that there's the Leo symbol in the background. This is fire energy. This is creative energy. This is you coming to the conclusion or the end of a project, maybe that you've started. If you didn't get it started, now is the time to do it. Definitely during Leo season, when our creativity is at its highest. This is about standing in your power, taking ownership for your creative projects, speaking up for yourself, and also standing in your strength and your power, and um, stop procrastinating is what I'm hearing from the Virgos. Stop procrastinating and get it done. Your animal totem is the stag spirit, and that is about standing in quiet power, not having to boast or argue, scream or yell. It's about knowing who is in control and, just going with that energy. This says it's time for you to take the lead. So if you're working on a project that has stalled and it hasn't gotten done, this is time for you to step up so that you can finish the project and get it done. And maybe you're just struggling within your own mind. And it's like you need to turn the one side of you off that's been procrastinating or creating self doubt and turn the other side on and say, all right, let's dig in and get it done. Okay, so now that leads us to Libra. Libra, you have the Seven of Wands. And this is about the culmination of all your creative effort coming into play and you being so super centered in that. Um, this is about you taking time to evaluate or reevaluate what your next move is, what the next position is for the rest of the year. Are you going to move on with that creative project? Do you want to grow from it? What is it that is holding you back? Or what are your ultimate long-term goals in this situation? It feels like you've come to this place where you need to rest and just do a reevaluation to see if you're going to expend any more energy in what you are currently working on, or are you going to move on to something brand new? And this is kind of what I was picking up. So you have frog spirit, and it says clear out the clutter. When I think of frog spirit, I do think about the spring. So I'm going to harken back for the Libras to what did you begin in the spring that you're still working on, procrastinating on? I feel or see like this pile of clutter that just kind of got pushed to the side, and then I never did anything with it. And there it is, staring me in the face every single day. This is saying maybe just scrap it, move on, like scrap it, call it a day, you know, cut your losses and move on. But it could be the clutter around you that is holding you back because there's too much overwhelm going on in the mind. That's what I'm picking up. So maybe stop, drop, and roll, clear up the clutter. I kind of feel that as well, um, in a sense, even though I don't have anything in Libra. And so, but I'm constantly doing that, clearing space so that it clears my mind so that I can think more clearly, if that makes sense. Okay, Scorpios, you have the Six of Cups. This is about memories. This is sentimental. This is about childhood friends, our most loyal companions. Scorpios, um, there's a lot of callback to memories and the things that made you happy, the things that filled your heart. This could be, a little bit of too much sentimentality that holds you back. Um, This could be the end and conclusion of a chapter in your lives that could be bringing a little bit of sorrow. This could also be the return of somebody from your past that you have a lot of wonderful memories with, maybe from your childhood. And the animal totem that you have, it's chameleon spirit, and it says act as if. And I think Scorpios in general are very good at being a chameleon, putting on one face, even though they may be feeling something completely different underneath the surface. Um, and if that is the case, I feel as though it's like maybe you need to let those feelings to the surface, take off that mask, take off that changeling appearance. I often see this energy with Neptune right behind the ascendant, the rising sign, somebody that can't figure out who they are, how they want to appear to the outside world. So they put on one face because they feel like their true face isn't good enough. If there is sorrow, allow that human side of yourself to show, and maybe you will gain respect and compassion from people that never saw that side of you before. Sagittarius, the hanged man, enlightenment, surrender, needing to just throw in the towel on something that you've been maybe working on and not getting very far with. And it's like, or is the energy mentally and physically and spiritually that you're expending more than the results that you're getting? Are you just spinning your wheels? Maybe it's time to just let go and surrender to what the universe will bring to you. This is also a wake up call, wake up time, an aha moment. The bee spirit. Now, this says sweet results await. So the bee spirit's saying don't give up. And it's time for you to reap the rewards of what you've already accomplished. Allow yourself that. Yeah. So I feel like there is the end of a cycle coming. And it's like, you know what? Take it for what it is. Say, I did well enough and reap the rewards from that. But it's time for you to maybe rethink, rehone what it is, because I feel like there's been a lot of energy expended and the rewards are falling short. Capricorn, this is your full moon. You got two this year. So this is huge for the Capricorns. They've been through the mill over, like really the last 10 years. It's been so rough for Capricorns. We're finally coming to the end, the conclusion of all of that harshness. Come February of next year, Capricorns, it's like you're in the clear and you have the Empress. And I love that. And this is about, fertility. It's fertile. It's new beginnings. It is the woman. It is the mother. Um, it is abundance, unconditional love, reaping the rewards. This is about body, mind, and spiritual renewal for the Capricorns. And how about this? The scarab beetle. And it says, magic works through you. And the scarab beetle is eating up all the remains of all the dregs that are left so that it can birth something brand new. And I think that's pretty beautiful. And it is very magical. How about that? Aquarius. Aquarius, you have the Four of Cups. Four of Cups seems like you're bored. You have the world in front of you, so much to be grateful for, and you really could care less. I feel like there's a lot of mental overwhelm for the Aquarians, and you kind of just want to Netflix and chill, but maybe not Netflix and chill, just Netflix slash and chill, take a nap, You don't want to be thinking about it. You don't want to have to make a choice, make a decision. You want everything to just flow for you. And I think that you're causing your own issues up here, and that's what's overwhelming the Aquarians. And you have moth spirit, and it says surrender now. So we're getting a lot of that surrender energy. Moth spirit is really interesting because it says you keep doing the same thing, expecting different results. You keep being attracted to the same people, expecting different results. You keep, following these shiny things that are catching your attention, expecting it to be something different than you've seen or heard before, and you're getting the same results. Think of the moth that is attracted to the flame or the light, and it just has this obsession, and it can't break this obsession. That is what is happening with the Aquarians. This obsession, you can't break free. It's time for you to surrender from everything and walk away. Turn out that light so that you can fly away in freedom and get some rest. This is about resetting your body, mind, and spirit, Aquarius. Last but not least, we have Pisces, and it is the Strength card. So it's interesting because how this is depicted here, because within the Strength card, you see these two faces, the woman and the lion. And it's like, I have to put on this face that I am strong, yet inside I'm crumbling. And that doesn't mean that you have to be bitter and nasty or anything to anybody else. That's what the symbol of the lamb is. You can be so super strong and yet still be very soft and gentle and vulnerable. Now is a time where you really need to exercise that strength and perseverance, knowing that you will be reaping rewards from it soon enough. The mouth spirit comes up for you, and this talks about paying attention to all the little details. Maybe what's going on with you emotionally, you're missing taking care of certain things that need to be taken care of. It says tend to the small things. So when we are wounded and needing to be strong, when we tend to the mundane things like washing dishes, mopping floors, taking care of our gardens, those little tiny tasks take our mind off of the things that are weighing us down and really help us get through the day. So pay attention to the little details or tend to the small things. Well, that's all I have for you, and I hope you really enjoyed this video. Hopefully I'll find time to come back and do more of these because I really love it, and I wish that I could. It's just really hard to find time because I value my sleep very much. And that's what I've been doing with my free time when I have it, is trying to get as much sleep as I can. So happy full moon, happy full buck moon in Capricorn. Allow this energy from this video and these cards to carry you until I come back. A lot of this energy, especially that full spread, is for the rest of the year. Remember, what I had said, that if we do nothing, everything crumbles down around us in chaos and in destruction. So think about that. And I'll be back before you know it. Namaste.